Hello everybody, nice to be with you again. I hope you have had a good time. Today we would like to talk about depression and the role of attachment in depression and also a little bit in anxiety. So one thing that I would like to put out to you before we bring this theme, this topic into the depths of it is as we have physiological needs, which Abraham Maslow has been searching about and which he has been developing throughout the years, such as eating, such as sleeping, such as having sex, such as drinking. These are all physiological basic needs that we have. We have also psychological needs. So what are the psychological basic needs? The psychological basic needs are attachment, security and control, hedonism. Now I will explain to you what is hedonism. Hedonism is seeking situations to be rewarded and hesitating situations that are unpleasant. So that's hedonism. Basically, you learn how to take care of yourself. And then you're going to develop the self, consisting of self-confidence and self-esteem. Now, one more time, it is attachment, it is security and control, it is hedonism, being explained, and it is the self, consisting of self-confidence and self-esteem. And these psychological basic needs will develop throughout the time after birth in disorder. So that's why attachment plays a very, very big role in conceiving, in having the feeling state of security and control, in learning how to be hedonistic, so how to take care of yourself in a very pleasant way and how to sort of hesitate and maybe even control unpleasant situations for yourself. Out of all this, you're gonna develop a good self-confidence. Why? Because if you are having that state of security, that let's call it feeling of security and control, and if you are hedonistic, so you know how to take care of yourself in the best way, how to look after yourself, you are going to develop a good self-confidence out of it. And that self-confidence is going to give you a stronger self-esteem. Now, having that strong self-confidence and self-esteem, you are going to have a stronger self. And only if you have a strong self, you will be able to manage life, to live it, quotation marks, adaptive, functional, let's call it good life, later on. So attachment as such, and this word should be explained by itself, will happen after birth. Partially it is happening even prior to birth. So when the fetus is in the womb, it is already attaching, okay? So after birth, you will develop that feeling of security, because when the baby cries, for no matter what reason, the mother or the father should run to the baby and see what's going on. They're going to take the baby in the arm. They're going to feed it, take care of it, whatever they need to do. So the baby knows, hey, I'm not alone. There is someone for me. I am secure. If the baby cries and nobody is looking after the baby, the baby is gonna feel left alone. This is gonna have a big influence on the child development throughout 0, which is birth, to 3 years of age, and then another time between 3 to 5, which is the second cycle. And during this time, children are developing their bond with their mother, with their father, and with the rest of the family, and also with other people. So now I have another word that should be explained, and this is the bond. Attachment and bond. If you imagine a very young tree, you're gonna put a strong stick into the ground beside it and attach the young tree to the stick with a rope. So now the young tree, which is metaphorically talking, standing for the baby, attached to the stick, which is a stronghold, in order to grow up and get stronger itself. So the attachment has been done here through the rope. If you look at the branches that are growing up, those branches, they are not attached to the tree. They have a bond. So this, let's call it, this is the natural form of attachment, which is a lot stronger than just attachment in itself. Bond is something very intimate. It's something that is going a lot deeper into its structures than attachment. So attachment is just this, and a bond goes like that. Something that is bonded strongly, you will have difficulties to detach. Something that is just attached, you can detach a lot easier. So that's why attachment becomes bond throughout these years after birth. I'm not going to talk about a time before birth. So I'm not talking about the prenatal time, just postnatal, after birth. The baby, the child, is going to develop attachment to bond. And once that bond is strong, so now the child, the 3, 4, 5 years old child, knows, okay, anything that happened, I will have at least some of my family taking care of me, being there for me. I am not alone. I have people that look after me. I know that I'm not able to survive myself. And I know that there is someone there for me to assist me, to support me, to help me, to survive and to develop myself. They give me what I need to develop myself. So that's when attachment becomes a very strong and intimate bond. If you have problems with attachment in childhood, so we have, for example, insecure attachment, we have other attachment styles, such as disorganized, such as avoidant. Now, if your attachment style, basically I should say, if the attachment style that the mother and somehow the father later on are offering the baby, the child, is weak up to disorganized, you will see the child developing a poor attachment. And what happens with that attachment is that the attachment is not strong enough, and the attachment cannot grow to a very strong bond. This will play a role in later on life regarding cognitive patterns, emotional patterns, schemata or schemata, and that's when children with poor quality attachment or no bond will have most likely a predisposition also to anxiety and to depression. So, having said that, again, I'm repeating, psychological basic needs, attachment that should become a bond over time, over little time, throughout the first 5 years of childhood. Of course, it should go on later on, but the real strength of an attachment that becomes a bond happens within those first 5 years. Then you will have a strong state and the feeling of security and control. You will develop, when I say you, I mean the child will develop a very adaptive way of taking care of itself, which is the hedonism. And out of that, the child is developing a very good self-confidence and self-esteem because it understands that it's learning how to take care of itself, so it's developing a good life. And now we have just showed a little bit the difference between attachment and bond and why it is very important for attachment to become bond. Basically, you can say the stronger the bond, the greater and the stronger your self-confidence and your self-esteem. Hence, the smaller the predisposition to anxiety and to depression in later life. It is very important to be attached and to create bonds because we are social animals. Human being is social. We are not like snakes, like other animals that can live on themselves, by themselves, all alone. No, we are social. We need attachment and we need bond. Now, how to do so? How to create attachment? You need to take it step by step. If you have poor attachment, this is something that can be assessed. So a professional could tell you what kind of attachment style you have had, whether it was secure, whether it was insecure, whether it was avoidant, whether it was disorganized, whatsoever. And it's very important to know that you need to take it by small steps. So don't stay home and isolate, just try to attach to people. Set little goals to do things with others. Don't look at it in the big picture. Try to do small things to attach to people. Have a conversation with your neighbor for 10 minutes, for 5 minutes the first couple of days, then after weeks for 10 minutes, then for 20 minutes. Go out there and just build up a group of people, in the beginning a little group that you just attach with, that you do things with. Organize activities with other people and attach to them. Remember, attach like the very young tree that is attaching like a tree and the strong stick that we put in the ground for the young tree to be able to develop and grow up. Use that rope to sort of attach, and then take it step by step to see how you can bond with people. A bond is not something that happens like that. So it's not a snap. It is not something that you just have, you know. It is even wrongly understood that a family, it's the same blood, people say, they have a strong bond. This is not so, okay? A lot of families have dysfunctional attachment styles. And this is a very big problem within the family and then later on for the people towards the society and towards the other people. They cannot attach and bond in a proper way. So this will disturb and perturbate your later life. Again, try to take it step by step, do small steps, try to attach, and then build up that attachment by time. Hopefully, that attachment will and can grow to a bond. Remember that the bonding is also depending on the other person. It's not just depending on you. So either it happens or it doesn't, whether it is really functional or not, both people at least, or more people in the group, have to work on it. So also attachment and bond is not something that is given. It is something you have to work on. It is something that you have to develop for yourself. And you cannot just expect to have it as such just because you're born and just because it is the same blood and you're within the family. You have to work on it. So having said that, I hope you liked my video. If you do so, then give us a thumbs up. And for the next week, we're going to talk about depression and the role of your thinking patterns and how they influence your emotional being, your effect to become depressive. Have a good time. I wish you all the best. Thank you for watching.